urging action reports today. I am not saying this magazine's cover pages say, what is the dialogue of soldiering in India, and the manner in which the editorial board has selected a graphic itself communicates a lot. We are soldiers first. We have to understand what soldiering is, and soldiering also involves telling a nation why हमारा हाल ऐसे मत करो. Now, it will be later difficult for me to communicate everything because the raw speakers, they are not others, raw officers who had raw with speakers. We have done such debate here, one of the very senior officers here. Yeah. But before I keep communicating a real game, I request my daily wife, Mr. Darwin, to kindly read the article or whatever I put by it once. Maybe I must be writing something more, but because the biggest trouble, if at all, I had given is to her because दिन और रात मैं कुछ लिख रहता हूँ. She says there is something which is बंदा correct. क्या है? Right. I'll request you to pay.
Good morning, everyone. And I welcome you all on behalf of Aminbek Seminar Ethics Kurde. And this, of course, has been, written by him, and I will little bit of editing it. The Dharma of Soldiering in a. So I'm just reading it out for you. The Dharma of Soldiering media calls for a reflection on the role of the armed forces in a democracy. India, with its 140 crore citizens, stands tall as the world's largest democracy. However, when one scrutinizes the relationship between the armed forces and the broader society, a topping disconnect becomes apparent. Soldiers are often trained from a young age in army schools, institutions, dedicate their lives to the discipline, sacrifice, and national service. They enter the armed forces fully aware that many of their fundamental rights will be curtailed. The sacrifice of personal freedom stands in stark contrast to the lives of civilians who enjoy unrestricted democratic privileges. Yet, after the years of service, many soldiers find themselves alienated in the very democracy they once sought to defend. This has led to a pertinent question: whose army is it anyway? A lack of restricted rights. For military personnel, restrictions on fundamental rights such as freedom of speech, assembly, and association are necessary to preserve the discipline and utility essential to army service. These sacrifices are made to ensure the defense of the nation, often with little recognition from the public. Civilians can engage in protests, voice their concerns freely, and participate in politics, whereas soldiers are obligated to remain apolitical and silent. This reality is impressed upon those who join the military, particularly for those who grew up in the armed schools, where loyalty to the nation, service before self, and discipline are core values. When these individuals retire, they face the stark reality of transitioning into a civilian life that enjoys freedom they once were denied. This adjustment is often difficult, as society at large does not fully grasp the extent to their sacrifices, leading to a deep sense of isolation and frustration. Retired soldiers often face multifaceted challenges. While in uniform, they belong to an elite institution that demands unwavering loyalty, professionalism, and sacrifice. However, once they retired, they find themselves entering a civilian world that does not fully comprehend or appreciate their contributions. The respect and authority they commanded while in uniform diminishes as they find themselves part of the mere 0.1% of India's population that served in the armed forces. The broader public remains largely unaware of their struggles and sacrifices. The stark contrast between the disciplined life of service and the unrestricted freedoms civilians enjoy can be disconcerting. Many veterans, particularly those who served as emergency commissioned officers, short service commissioned officers, and women special entry officers, feel abandoned by a society indifferent to their contributions. The lack of robust resettlement policies, pension disparities, and exclusion from the key benefits further exacerbates their alienation. The Korean question, whose army is it anyway, symbolizes the growing divide between those who served with pride and a society that seems indifferent to their services. One of the most concerning trends in recent years is the silence of senior military leaders regarding key issues affecting the armed forces. Historically, generals and senior officers were revered for their leadership and advocacy for the soldiers' welfare. Today, many of these leaders have aligned themselves with political parties, raising questions about their loyalties. Prominent generals like V.K. Singh and J.J. Singh, who were once admired for their military careers, have entered the political sphere, complicating the relationship between the military and the politics. The silence on critical issues, such as the one hand, one pension, protests at Jantar Mantar, has left many ex-servicemen disillusioned. Veterans expected these leaders to innovate for their rights, yet the silence of these once respected figures only deepens their sense of betrayal. Key issues highlighting the crisis. The current disconnects between the armed forces, the government, and the society can be highlighted by several pressing issues. OROP protests at Jantar Mantar. Veterans have taken to the streets to demand their pensions under the OROP scheme. Despite the length and intensity of their protests, the government's response has been inadequate. Meanwhile, the silence of retired generals who had entered politics has further eroded the confidence of ex-servicemen. Lack of ORP and cashless medical facilities for the ECOs, SSCOs, and WSEs, while regular retirees benefit from ORP. These categories, which had made significant contributions to national defense, are excluded from pension schemes and cashless medical benefits. This divide within the veterans community is both disheartening and unjust. Successive revisions of ORP to the upcoming ORP3 had been marked by confusion, delays, and unequal distribution of benefits. Veterans who were once assured of a fair deal now face uncertainty. The role of the CDS is critical to ensuring strategic leadership in the armed forces. Unfortunately, political interference in appointments has compromised the effectiveness of this crucial position. Once seen as symbols of military authority and honor, the status of service chiefs is being eroded. The declining respect for these figures weakens the leadership of the armed forces. The military has long prided itself on being apolitical and secular. However, recent trends towards communalizing the armed forces threaten to weaken its unity and integrity, with potentially dangerous consequences for national security. The Agnipath scheme. Introduced with much fanfare, the Agnipath scheme has faced widespread criticism from within the military. Its long-term impact on career prospects and morale remains unsettled, raising doubts about its effectiveness. Broken promises on toll-free travel for ex-servicemen. Despite assurances from the government, toll-free travel for ex-servicemen has yet to be implemented. This broken promise highlights the growing gap between political rhetoric and actual policy. Disrespect towards the military rank and status. Recent incidents of disrespect towards military personnel, such as the mistreatment of a brigadier's daughter in Orissa, or the case of Captain Gurung, a 71 war veteran, lived and another Captain Bala found living in squalor. Long list demanding ex-gratia in old age service. Many veterans, such as Captain Shore, continue to fight for justice for their families without institutional support, with no special support from the judiciary as well as executives assisting the soldiers' resettlements. Ajay Bikram Singh Committee reforms and their flawed execution has dishonored veterans, particularly those who retire before 16 December 2004. By converting military ranks into time-scale and selection rate categories, this reforms are degrading the sanctity of ranks like Lieutenant Colonel and Colonel. This later compounded by discriminatory ORP implementation has created inequitable pensions, privileges, and protocols, violating constitutional guarantees of equality and dignity. Veterans affected by this injustice now see legal recourse, emphasizing the principle of equal pay for equal work, and urging the judiciary to restore parity, honor, and morale in the Indian Armed Forces. The question of loyalty. Why do so many former military leaders remain silent in the face of these issues? One question explanation is that many of them receive multiple pensions and have secured comfortable post-retirement appointments. The shifting of loyalties from the uniform to political affiliations raises serious concerns. To preserve the political nature of the armed forces, there must be a mandatory cooling off period of at least 4 years before senior military leaders turn or enter politics. The need for immediate action. The crisis facing both serving soldiers and retired veterans demand immediate attention. A Soldier and Ex-Serviceman Privileges and Protocols Act must be enacted to ensure that the dignity and the respect of military service are upheld. The nation must re-examine the roles of a former military leader in politics and ensure that the welfare of soldiers remain a top priority. Furthermore, it is imperative that the silence of journalists is broken. These leaders must advocate for the rights and the dignity of the soldiers they once commanded. Their silence is a betrayal of the very people who looked upon them for guidance and leadership. Conclusion: whose army is it anyway? In a democracy where 140 crore citizens enjoy unrestricted rights, the armed forces remain the protectors of national sovereignty, operating under restricted rights to ensure the security of the nation. The growing disconnect between the military's sacrifices and society's lack of recognition begs the question, whose army is it anyway? This army belongs to the people of India. However, it is imperative that the people never forget the sacrifices made by those who serve. The nation must ensure that its soldiers, both serving and retired, are respected, cared for, and honored for their contributions. Only by addressing these pressing issues can we preserve the integrity and fabric of the armed forces. Right.